In just 3 days, parts of Georgia's economy will be open for business once again. Thank you for joining us for Facts Not Fear at noon. I'm Sheba Russell. Governor Kemp announcing that starting on Friday, gyms and fitness centers, barbershops and hairdressers, nail salons and massage therapists can all reopen. And on Monday, movie theaters, private social clubs and dine-in services at restaurants. Governor Kemp saying keeping things closed is simply not sustainable for Georgia families, and it's time to start the process of opening up our state.
We're talking about somebody that has put their whole life into building a business that has people that they love and work with every single day, working in many of these places, that are at home going broke, worried about whether they can feed their children, make the mortgage payment. You know, these are tough decisions, no doubt, and I've had to make many of them.
But the governor cautions these businesses will have to operate differently. He says strict social distancing measures should still be in place by increasing physical space by 6 feet. Regular sanitation must happen. Workers showing signs of illness like a fever or shortness of breath must be screened and evaluated. The governor says this will not undermine progress the state has made in flattening the curve. Now, we're hearing from many people who believe this is just way too risky, and that includes Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, who says social distancing at these types of businesses is just not possible.
These are businesses that require that you be in close contact with people in order to provide the services. So I'm extremely concerned about the carve out. And what I think is that people really have to use their best judgment and exercise their common sense. And the science says that it is too soon for us to come in close contact with one another because we are not out of the woods as a country. My biggest concern right now is that we will see an even worse scenario than what we've had, because I think a lot of the success that we've seen in the city and quite frankly throughout this state has been because we were very aggressive in shutting things down. When you look at Bibb County around Macon, and you see where our spike is happening in the state, that's an area that did not take aggressive measures and did not close down, and you're seeing the numbers bear that out.
Meanwhile, business owners say they're feeling conflicted on whether to reopen, weighing layoffs and furloughs against worker safety. Others are not sure what the governor's order means for their business and how it will operate moving forward. Janu Her has more.
For several weeks now, Verde Taqueria in Brookhaven has been restricted to only takeout and delivery, like all restaurants statewide.
We've been able to pivot and keep our sales pretty strong.
Owner Hill Rogers says they've been able to keep busy between takeout orders and running between different hospitals, delivering free meals to healthcare workers.
I think we're a little over 3,000 meals now. We've done Piedmont, several Emory campuses, Grady.
Lauren Rawls owns Lauren Rochelle Salon Studio in Atlanta. She says the governor's announcement left her conflicted.
On one hand, it's my livelihood. That's how I help support my family, right? And on the other hand, it's risky because it's not all settled. So I can run the risk of actually bringing the virus home.
There's just so many unknowns of what everybody wants, what's safe, and what's legal that we're just going to sit tight and kind of wait for more info to trickle down.
But what these business owners do know is they're putting the safety of staff and customers first.
We're going to start having procedures put in place. And then from there, we'll reach out to our clients.
And many of you quickly weighing in on this issue in our poll online on my Facebook page and Twitter. Liza Lucas is tracking your reactions while social distancing from her home.
We've heard from many of you overnight and throughout the morning regarding Governor Kemp's plan. There are concerns, there are questions, and a lot of strong feelings. Some of those reactions playing out in our 11 Alive poll. It is active now and has accumulated thousands of votes. Head over to 11alive.com/vote to weigh in. Darlene posting on 11 Alive Facebook that she'd love to go back to work, but in her opinion, it's too soon. And she's not alone. For Marie, the governor's decision is good for business, but bad for the public. She'll be waiting to see what happens. And a personal story for Tony, who says his wife, a nurse, was disheartened to see the news from the governor. Ryan, however, glad to see efforts to reopen the state. And Karen stating that for her, personal freedom is the key here. But she also says she'll be isolating a few more weeks. There are also questions from Anna and others about how exactly social distancing will work for those businesses allowed to reopen. 11 Alive is where Atlanta speaks, and we want to hear from you. Continue to vote now or head over to our Facebook page to join the conversation.
The number of coronavirus cases driving the governor's decision, and here are the new numbers just in from the State Department of Public Health. There are now 19,881 confirmed infections. That's 482 more than yesterday. Nearly 800 people have died and 3,779 people hospitalized. A UGA staff member is one of many who fought against COVID-19. His name is Jeremy Clawski. He's out of the hospital, thankfully, after battling COVID-19 for more than 5 weeks, spending much of that time on a ventilator. Maria Martin spoke with his father, who is happy to have his son home after a long and unpredictable battle.
On the 18th, he tested positive for the virus.
At just 32 years old, Georgia Bulldogs football video coordinator Jeremy Clawski spent 5.5 weeks in the hospital with COVID-19. 4.5 of those were in the ICU.
They had to knock him out when they put the respirator, when they put the tube down him. They were concerned, even with just knocking him out with strong sedatives, it wasn't going to be enough. So basically, they put him into almost like a medical coma.
He's now at home recovering with his family, battling side effects of the virus's grasp.
His biggest concern is that he's having a little bit of blurred vision. And they think it might have been brought on by a very, very mild stroke he had when he was sedated.
Head coach of the Georgia Bulldogs, Kirby Smart, constantly checked in on Jeremy. He was even there to celebrate his release from the hospital.
If it wasn't through a phone call, my wife was getting texts from him every other day or so.
Alongside the head coach, hundreds of nurses and doctors lined up at Piedmont Athens Regional last week to celebrate a momentous milestone that Jeremy was going home.
Just to see the support he got from the hospital and from UGA, it was amazing.
His father calls his recovery a miracle, but encourages others to take this virus very seriously.
You always think, I think sometimes that, oh, these things don't happen to good people. Well, these things happen to anyone. I hope it's a lesson to the nation, not only the survival, but you never know.
We like to see more and more of these survivor stories. It is 12:08 right now. Searching for a solution, a new phase of the COVID-19 vaccine trial is starting at Emory, and they're now asking for volunteers age 56 and older to come forward. They need your help. Doctors say since many older adults don't develop as strong of an immune response to vaccines, it's important to evaluate this vaccine in older people. Emory is now looking for 60 volunteers to receive 2 shots of the experimental COVID-19 vaccine 1 month apart. Doctors will follow them for a year. If you're interested in learning more, look for the story on 11alive.com. Right now, another heartwarming effort is underway to help feed struggling families. The nonprofit Community Development for Real People is hosting a food drive at the Sylvain Funeral Home in McDonough. It runs from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. every Tuesday. If you would like to help, you can donate non-perishable food items or grocery gift cards. Volunteers are also needed to deliver goods to seniors and families without transportation.